Guten Tag, cartoon tank builders. So we have number 5 of the World War Toons series put out by Meng Model. And this is a video game, by the way. I've never played it though. We got the German medium-sized tank of the Panzer III. Look, cool little drawing there. Here's some shots from that game. I don't know if that game is actively played anymore. So a little blurb: most reliable tank of the war, frequently used in the Lightning Wars, the Blitzkrieg. Three-man turret, and torsion bar suspension, all still popular today. Okay. Weight 23 tons, 5 and all those meters. Crew of 5, and then we have a 5-centimeter tank gun. Goes 40 kilometers an hour, an operational range of 165. Alright, and there's some orthographic views, it looks like. And then they put out some funky colored ones, like cartoon ones, and I haven't seen. Oh, I gotta build one of those. Oh yes, I gotta. Maybe I'll eventually get to those cartoon boats and planes, but I want to finish all the tanks off first. Okay, well, I bought this one off AliExpress. No affiliation. They're also sold on eBay. I would have to assume maybe Amazon as well. Some sort of inspection sticker. And then typical Meng stuff. We've got very clear instructions. And the plastics, they're pretty good. Like, I very often don't even paint these things. I'll just like weather them, and they put a clear coat over the decals. But like, see, I don't see the crazy rippling of like weird plastic flowing in through such a large piece. It's pretty bad on the inside, but who cares about that? It's not important. But let's see. There's a little bit of that rippling and stuff. Yeah, so I guess it can't be avoided. There we go. Nice big different texture there. But for a cartoon tank, I think it actually is okay because, you know, it's out in the field. It's going to get weird scratches and stuff. Alright, now the one thing I'm not a fan of are these rubber tracks, because sometimes they compress the wheels together because the tension is so great. But mostly you can't really weather rubber very well because the paint won't stick to it. It'll just scrape right off. So you can weather it, but you can never move the tracks or the paint will come off. That said, these are very nicely detailed tracks. Like the side pins are all visible, and then you got a lot of dimensionality to the links. I just wish they were plastic. You know, then they could be even weathered better, and you don't have to worry about it flaking off. So some parts are loose, it looks like, and then these must be for some wheels or something. So a very minor amount of decals there. I will definitely put those on. And then here we go. So you want to check to have all those parts. And then the directions, yeah, you just gotta look at the part number, some directional arrows, and then some recommendations I would say is don't put the hull together, and like put all the parts on the top and the bottom, and you want to not put those together until the very end. Like I'll put all these on before I compress that down. Reason being is some of the parts might be loose or it's too tight. And I find that if you put the hull together, you might break the pins trying to get it apart again. It's a very tight fit. There's no glue necessary on most of these, but some pieces, sometimes you might have to glue, sometimes you might have to open the holes up. Well, it's got some armor shields here. And then here's the decal locations, not too many to worry about. And then should you want to paint it, here's some paint recommendations, written in Japanese and Russian, and then I guess Meng has some sort of relationship with AK. Okay, so as usual, I'm gonna fast forward this video. You can slow it down or fast forward, skip towards the end, and I'll talk about any problems I run into. Okay, so we're back, and maybe it took only 5 hours. This is a pretty fast build, which is great. I didn't actually show it in the build, though. I had to go back and add some black paint to these wheels. I think these are rubber on the real tank. Same with up here. I also had some extra decals from something else, so I added these extra crosses, and also this little blue thing. I don't know what that is, like a squadron decal or something. And this is from like a Tamiya 135th accessory kit. And this is like a miniature chain necklace. But it's kind of hard to paint black, so you can see a lot of the chrome coming through. So on this one, the turret is a 90-degree release. There were definitely some tight issues. Those issues being these handles that go on these little hatch doors. They were really hard to put on, and those same handles were also on these hatches here. So it might be advisable to actually drill those holes out a little bit. I didn't on these two, it took so long, so I ended up drilling out these holes a little bit. This hatch actually will open, by the way, but it's, I don't know, I clear coated this quite a bit, so there we go. It's such a small hatch though. We'll have to see if a figure will fit in there later. The turret moves only a little bit there, and the turret's quite a bit gappy here. I did try to hold it together with crazy glue, but that's still as good as I could get it. I would also perhaps advise, if you want to save time, reading the instructions to put these on. All 6 of these are different pieces, so it took me a while to figure out which pieces went where, because I clipped off all the parts off the runners first. This piece also was problematic. The pins seemed too big for the holes here, so I drilled out those holes as well for the bottom part of that. I don't know what this is, if that's like an inlet for air. Please leave a comment if you know. Okay, I also put this decal back here because there's a seam line right here. And there's only one of these 213 decals, and it's expected to be right here. But that seems odd to me, you know? Why would there be 2? So I decided to just put that there. Alright, so that's the turret. Everything else went in pretty well. These little side skirts are actually removable. They're you push these rectangles through the holes, and then the side skirt actually slid down. But you could theoretically slide them up and release them, but they're a very tight fit. So if you do intend to remove these off, and I would trim down these rectangles or open up these holes so it's easier. Also, if there's any sort of extra nub in these things, these little arms here want to be angled down, so you want to really knock off those nubs as well as you can. Even so, this skirt doesn't seem quite vertical. Alright, and then these tracks, for some reason, they don't really stay on very well. The reason being is, look how wide the track is, and look how thin that bogey wheel is. And that bogey wheel is over on like one side of that recess. I don't know why they didn't just make these wheels as wide as these wheels. Then they would lay evenly. But you can see the track is like curved inwards because of that. It's kind of strange. I didn't even bother weathering the track. I didn't even bother weathering the track because I know this paint's just gonna fall off. See, this is a couple layers of rattle can clear coat, and even that stuff falls off. So Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Just some black paint in there. I did also drill out the machine gun there, and as well as on this turret. This antenna is kind of hard to paint because it's part of the same as the channel that it's resting in. This U-shaped channel and that antenna are all molded as one piece. So I advise you paint that before you put it in here. I wasn't thinking and had to do it while I was in there. Everything else here seemed to fit fine, no problem. Some extra. I didn't glue that in place, so there we go. Looks better. Yes. Also, you're gonna probably want to paint the axe and the hammer there before you put this skirt thing on. So I didn't glue the skirt thing on. It's just a good friction fit. But just to be safe, I did glue a lot of these things from the inside out. Because if they do fall off, it might be hard to push them back in. It's just a hassle, right? These parts are so small, so I don't want them to get lost. I guess that's it. Yeah. Okay, so it was a quick build. All I did was add the Tamiya brown panel liner to fill in those vents and just give it a rough paint wash. So, one thing I'm a little curious, will this little MOC character fit in there? But I'm already thinking it won't. Let's see, that torso. Yeah. Oh wow, it'll barely fit, but you see the hatches and the arms? So it's not going to be really, it looks weird, right? So unfortunately these things don't lay down flat. So I think I'm just going to close it up again because I'm afraid they'll snap off. It is nice that it will snap together, the tension, keeping them from just rattling loose. Okay, so I think the matte clear coat stuff really helps out as far as making it look old. I didn't paint any of this gray or anything like that, it's just a raw plastic. But here you can see like a nub mark there. So let's look at a few other tanks here, the predecessors. This here, I like to put the decals on the bottom so I know what they are. I really wish they would just put this text of what the tank is, instead of me having to look at this microscopic decal. So this is the Panzer II, so this is the predecessor. So I did weather this, quite a bit, but if I move those tracks, the paint's gonna fall off. So actually, that's a big jump. I guess this is probably considered a light tank. I think before the Panzer II, we have the 38T. Yeah, okay. I might be mistaken in the order, but okay. So then the last one I'm going to show is the heavy tank, the Porsche Tiger 1. So this actually does make sense, I think, as far as the scaling of these. Right, small, light tanks, medium tank, heavy tank. This would obviously look a lot smaller if it didn't have the side skirts. But if you just look at the chassis itself, these fenders, right? I think it makes sense, and also lengthwise, this Tiger is quite big. So, and then this medium tank is bigger than the small tank, the light tank, I mean. All right, so yeah, they're really cool. I really like these things. Oddly, I didn't see, at least on the instructions, that this should be painted like a rust color. Maybe it should be in the real world, but I didn't look it up. So, like this one, it's clearly rusted, and I think the instructions said that. Same with this one. There isn't one on that one. So it's possible you might want to make that a rusty tank, but I'm too lazy now. Well, another character won't fit the hatch. I do have this resin UFON figure that I did a different video on, and that works. I think it definitely looks cartoony. It looks like this was designed just for these kind of World War Toons tanks, but essentially I bought this with a really tuned out Tiger 1 tank. So you might want to look up Tiger 1 in my playlist or my channel and see that. Okay. Well, anyways, it's another great Meng model kit. No major problems. You know, this is a pretty smooth build. And again, it might have been my fastest one because it's just primarily gray. I would recommend paint markers. They do make things a lot faster. Like these display ones are really cool. Or maybe yeah, they work very well. Alright, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next World War Toons video.